Hi everyone and welcome back to my channel. For today's video, we are doing a full October Halloween friendly look. I wanted something a little 90s, a little goth glam, a little dark. I feel like a little dribble of fake blood and some fangs, and this could be a really cool, really grungy Halloween costume. Nice and easy, but also put on a nude lip, and this could very easily be like event eyes, nice and easy. Not even wearing a lash today, very simple look. So if this is something you're into, make sure to keep on watching and don't forget to subscribe because I upload every other day. That'll be the best way to stay up to date on all the fun stuff I'm posting. So if you want to jump into this look right here, stay tuned. All right, jumping right in, my face and my eyes are already primed. I want to do something a little bit vampy, a little bit like grunge glam. I think I want to do like black and smoky with some silver on the eyes, maybe a red lip, maybe a black lip. Got a lot in front of me, so we're gonna figure out how it goes. I'm gonna first jump in with my base. This is the Beauty For Real MVP Tinted Moisturizer. Still, after all of these years, a holy grail, and probably my most restocked complexion product. Now with this, you can build it up to a true full coverage, or you can sheer it out. Today I'm actually going to elect to go a little bit more on the coverage side and really building it up because I want that, like, I don't know, Halloween, October, very glam. Now with this, I know the color looks a little bit on the warm side. It's a little yellow leaning when you first apply it. What I love most about this product is, you know, I have a very cool undertone, which means there's a lot of pink in my skin. As I blend this in, it is very forgiving, and I do find that it really does become a great match for me. And I'm gonna go in and brighten the under eye and the areas in the center of the face with concealer anyway, so that usually helps it to be a great match. See how it looks like it's a good match? It looks a little yellow and a little dark, but for me, this is the perfect shade because once I blend my concealer in and powder the whole thing, it becomes perfect. Now, normally I would use the concealer in the cap, but today I want something a little bit more, something a little creamier. That's more of a true cream. So we're going in with the traditional Tarte Shape Tape, and you'll notice right away that this is going to be a pretty bright color, but I'm also going to use this to sort of correct how dark the other shade is. And that is like my year-round combination as long as I don't have a tan. And you'll see in the forehead already, it's almost allowing the deeper color of that tinted moisturizer to almost pre-bronze the skin. And you see how this side is already starting to look like a great match? And that's the thing. You know, people I have known to get like the perfect foundation shade and then go like one shade lighter on their concealer, and the mixture of those two shades looks okay. For me, I like to go about one shade lighter with my concealer, and I actually like to go one shade darker with my foundation. That way when the two blend together, it looks pretty good, but when I grab my setting powder, today I'm using the Lancome translucent powder, and I just set that down, and I use that to blur those colors together. You'll notice it kind of instantly comes together. I'm gonna switch to a larger brush with that same powder and really just press quite a bit of that all over. And I'll even take that into the hairline a little bit and down my neck so that everything is set well. And you see how the color now feels a lot more right. Now I'm still gonna add bronzer in to really blend the edges and make everything look good, but this is like the way to get that base. Now I'm a big fan of a finishing powder, so I am gonna take a tiny bit of the Charlotte Tilbury Airbrush Flawless Finishing Powder and just use that to blend everything together. I find it just softened everything and makes it look a little more seamless. Most of the cheek today is going to be Ofra. I'm gonna grab the Ofra bronzer and I'm gonna take that on my Rare Beauty bronzer brush, and I'm going to really the hollow of the cheek and just small circular motions. Now, the reason I like this brush for bronzer is it is very soft bristles, and it's also domed. So if I take the product on the tip of the brush, it's gonna put the most down in the center, and it's gonna kind of take that edge and diffuse it for me. So I really have to do less blending because the brush really does most of the work. And once the bronzer's down, I like to go back into that first brush and really just stamp over, and this is gonna make it look a little more seamless. All right, you've seen me do my brows a million times, so I'm gonna throw my brows on off camera and I'll be right back. All right, I am back. We're gonna put on blush, highlight, and start the eyes. For that, I was sent the Ofra Cosmetics collab with Hot Mess Mama MD. I have been friends with Rhonda for a very long time and I'm really excited to use this palette. It did come about a month ago, and unfortunately, I just got derailed with a million things, but congratulations to Rhonda, and there were a few other influencers who were also part of that partnership. Glam with Suzanne was one of them. I used the blush palette she came out with in a recent video, but I'm going to be using some of the lips from Suzanne and the palette from Rhonda today. So I'm going to start off with the blush in here. So I'm going to grab my blush brush, and I'm going to take this one right here. It's a little bit of a peachy terracotta, quite a bit on the brush. Ofra is very pigmented, so I'm going to actually tap some of that off, and I'm going to pat that into the cheeks. Now you want to make sure that you start by putting the pigment in the center of where you're going to want it, and then with whatever's left on the brush, I like to do small circular motions just to blend that out. That is such a pretty color. I think it really adds some warmth to the skin. It is quite flattering for my tone. I think that might be a really nice shade. There was another blush shade in there. It's a little more pinky, not really the type of tone I go for in a blush, but this one I think is really pretty. And you know, for years, everybody was doing mauvey, rosy blushes. So I'm glad that we're moving into this little bit warmer blush. Back to that first powder brush, just to blend those edges out. And I am actually going to throw a cheek topper on before I do a highlight. I will be using the highlight wheel in here and going for a rosy tone. But lately I've been really liking when I take the Benefit Georgia blush, which is almost like a peachy blushy highlighter. And I like to take that and just blend it over whatever blush I use. And it serves to blend the blushes in, but you'll notice it also gives you this pre-highlight, which just elevates everything in my opinion. And it's like the perfect shade for me to just blend everything together and just make everything look like it's glowing from within. To highlight, I'm going to keep this brush out to blend it out, but I'm also going to grab the Fenty Beauty Shark Fin Highlighter brush. And for this, I'm going to concentrate really in these two shades right here. They're very rose gold, and that's what I want to do. You always want to make sure with the Ofra blushes that you're not taking a lot, because it is a very pigmented formula, and it can go overboard very quickly, which is kind of why I love it, because you can really build it up and make it quite vibrant, or you can blend it out and use a very soft amount of it, and instead of having it be this very blinding glow from within, you can really use it strategically just to give the high points of the face a little extra lift. As always, once I get through that step, I like to take a setting spray, mist over the whole face, and then with my beauty sponge, just press over the cheek. This is going to press the highlight into the topper, into the blush, into the bronzer, and just have everything look like it is one cheek shining through and not looking like you have layer on layer on layer of makeup. And after that, whatever's left on the powder brush, just patting everything dry and adding a little bit more powder to veil the cheeks just so you get that lit from within glow. I will be switching to another palette for the rest of the eye look, but I'm going to start with this one. I'm going to take this shade down here, and I'm going to use it as a transition shade and blend that into my crease. I love the Ofra formula. In fact, for years, most of the shadows in my freelance makeup kit when I was doing bridal were Ofra shadows, partially because they are so easy to depot. It's really easy to make a nice custom palette because you just get right in there and pop it out and it's already magnetic. but they're also really reliable. They work really well, and the formulas are consistent. You know what you're gonna get. Switching to a smaller brush, I'm gonna go into this dark, it's almost like a cranberry brown shade, and I'm gonna take that on a packer brush, and I'm gonna start very low to my lashes, and gently adding a little bit more as I get further out. But I do want to concentrate that to the outer corner, and then I'm going to look up so that without bending my eye, I can get right into the crease of the eye to create this defined lifted shape. And I'm going to slowly add a little bit more shadow until I can get a nice smoked out outer corner. Once I have that where I like it, I'm going to go back into that first brush with that first peachy shade, and I am going to gently blend the edges a little bit. Next, on that second brush with no additional product, I'm just going to trace the crease, blend that up a little higher, and then I'm going to start taking that towards the center of the lid just to darken and diffuse that color a little bit more. All right, I'm gonna do this on this eye and I'll be right back. All right, so I didn't realize I wasn't recording, but I did use the same two shadows to smoke out some dark brown liner on the lower lash line. And I just took that on a double-sided pencil brush just to make sure that everything got smoked out. I didn't want it to be like a super intense black because we're going for this like mauvey purpley moment on the eye with probably silver, and then that really vampy lip we were talking about earlier. I am going to be putting the palette aside for now. I love the way the formula works. I know that. I think it's a great color story, but I really want something really vibrant and frosty, so I'm going to find something there. All right, so I jumped into my glitter drawer, and I found this Everything and More eye topper from One Size Beauty. So I'm going to put this on the lid and then take that dark purpley brown just to blend the edges. What I like about this formula is it's very creamy, but it also goes on really intense, that I could put that right on the lid with no shadow underneath and still get a really vibrant effect. I am going to grab a shadow brush just to pat it in so that it dries where I want it. Also going to get a really precise crease with that. And I'm going to try not to bend my eye. And I'm going to take that purple and just blend the two together. And then give that a second to dry down. All right, I love the way that looks. So I'm going to do the same thing on this eye, throw on mascara, and I'll be right back to finish with the lip. All right, and wrapping up with the lip, Glam with Suzanne partnered with Ofra as well and came out with like the lip mix combo. It was a brown, a red, a black, and a white that you can kind of mix intermittently to get the perfect shade. And with such a, I find it very Halloween appropriate, very October with the purpley eye. I think I want to go full in with a black lip, but I think I'm going to hold off and do red. I think that's the right call. I have my lips here in front of me in case I choose to change my mind. I'm going to start with a red. So I'm going to grab, but I'm going to go with a darker red. So I'm going to go in with a deep plum liner. This is Free Burgundy from Makeup Forever. I'm going to use this to line my lips. All right, now that I see this on, I'm definitely going to want to go a little vampy with the color. So I'm going to go into the shade Atlantic City, which is a pretty bright red, but in typical Suzanne fashion, I'm going to mix a little bit of the black shade called the Bronx in, and I'm going to do it the way that she does it. I'm going to take a little bit of the black on the outside, red in the inside, and press it all together. And I really like the way that these blended together to get that like really dark line on the outer corner. I'm going to grab a dark gloss. This is Rebel Rebel from Beauty For Real, and I'm going to apply that right on top just to blend it all together. And lastly, one final hit of setting spray and taking that sponge again and pressing everything into the skin. And that is the finished look, and I feel like I haven't gone this dark or this grungy or this glam in a very long time. I'm loving the dark lip. I'm loving the way that that black and the red mix together. I feel like I'm getting like the perfect pouty center because you can still see a little bit more of the black down here, which is just pulling that whole thing to that very vampiric eye. Throw in some fangs, add some fake blood, and this could be a perfect Halloween costume. Let me know your thoughts. As always, I would love to hear them, and I will see you in my next video. Bye!